got a very special four-wheel drive today. It's a Mitsubishi Pajero. Sorry, actually it's a Monstabishi Pajero. It's a second generation. The Monstabishi Pajero 1 was already very famous in our area here in Southeast Queensland. A lot of off-roaders in this area have seen a Monstabishi 1 in action. This is a Monstabishi 2, so this is actually an upgraded version, I would say.
That's correct.
And don't let looks fool you. This is not a show pony, even so it looks amazing. This car is built tough, it's a tank. So we will find out now. Andrew is going to tell us much more about it. Andrew, it's all yours.
Thank you. Monstabishi is still alive under this shell. I'm using its original chassis and gearbox and diffs. I've since then re-cabined it with a short wheelbase body with the original long wheelbase. Now to do that, I've actually had to put in an extra 255 millimeters in the engine bay. A lot of people have asked me what diffs are in the front, since it's a SAS, solid axle swap Pajero, or live axle. Now the front housing I actually made from a Pathfinder rear diff with GQ axle swivels welded on the end. Because it's a 233B diff, I'm able to use patrol diff gears and the Hatrop E-locker diff. Inside this housing I'm also running RCV axles and CVS, which makes it a very tough unit. From the diff I'm running a V6 Pathfinder rear drive shaft to the standard Pajero transfer case. In the back we have a patrol rear diff. Now this patrol rear diff is only the housing itself. It incorporates Pajero disc brake rotors with Falcon EA calipers for the handbrake. It is also connected to the vehicle with Land Cruiser front trailing arms, which gives you a full 3-bush application, which makes the suspension last a lot longer before the bushes flog out. And under the bonnet is the main reason why we had to extend these guards. We have a 1UZ twin turbo running the Pajero gearbox, which is 90% Pajero, 10% Sora. So with that, it's all fully optioned up, power steer, air conditioning, electrics, the alternator, and cruise control. As far as accessories go, we've got our rock lights in front of every wheel, which is controlled by a central control switch. We have our great white LED spotlights, which are unreal at night. And also, I've got a strategically hidden reverse LED in the middle of the spare. Now the spare is so large, I've actually had to lift it up as well to actually make it fit. With the 37s, I've moved the body forward 50mm, so there was zero modification to the rear wheel arch, and I could still articulate the 37s in the rear. With the fronts, I've increased this wheel arch by 100mm, and the other 155 was taken up between the door and the arch. So that gives us a total of 255. I'm running a front winch, which has got a remote, and I've also mounted a center winch facing rearward, which is on a remote as well. If you notice, I've gone over and above for aesthetics. I've worked out a pair of snorkels, which is only off one vehicle, which is a Toyota Hilux. The right hand side is a petrol Hilux, the left hand side is a diesel Hilux. Identical, modified, bolted. You think they were meant for a vehicle. Under the bonnet I'm running a early 1UZ FE, which is a 4-litre Toyota V8, also known as the Lexus V8. Now this motor has been built to suit the twin turbo setup by decompressing it, running forged pistons, and an aftermarket ECU, which I have road tuned for the time being at low boost, and still waiting for some dyno time to finish it off. At the moment she's getting 200 to 300 at the treads. After the dyno tune session I expect that to be double. The front axle is connected to the chassis through a GQ suspension system which runs a progressive rate in the springs, which allows me for full articulation when needed, with the wheel being tucked right up and let it come right down. Gives me as much traction as I can get before I have to apply either e-locker. This vehicle came to me as a dream. I imagined it, I built it. I knew what I wanted it to look like, and part of that look was these traps. So I've got these 37-inch traps and mounted them on to my Savannah 16-inch beadlock rims, which I already had from Monster 1. The original bumper bars don't really last real long out here in the bush. The rear ones just get ripped off in the first 5 minutes with the built-in tail lights, and the front ones just hang too low. So to combat that and to give the vehicle some protection, I've gone minimalistic on homemade bar work. Now this bar work here was done on a hydraulic bender at work. It's not the prettiest, but it's very functional. The rear bar work needed a lot tighter bends, so I took it down to my local muffler shop, which helped me out with bending the bars to the angles and shape that I wanted to. Took them back and assembled them, welded them all up, aligned them, and I'm very happy with the job. It protects the bodywork and the tail lights. Between the wheels, I'm also running very minimalistic but heavy duty rock sliders. Now these rock sliders, as you may well know, are worth more than their weight in gold, and they have saved these sills more than once already. So I've reused them again off Monster 1 to live again on Monster 2. For real difficult situations, when I get myself into trouble, I need a rear winch. So I mounted one mid-vehicle and attached it directly to the chassis. In doing so, I was left with a big hole in the floor, which I then enclosed with nothing else but a alloy toolbox. This winch is both cable controlled and remote controlled, and if we have some cable bind up, it's a simple lid release to fix the issue. I was going through a sports magazine and I saw the halo lights and fell in love with them. Searched high and low, couldn't find anybody who made any for the Pajero Generation 2. So I just made my own. Removed the lens, attached some halo lights from eBay, reassembled. Beautiful. The original Pajero power steer box just didn't have the strength to change direction. So I enlisted the help of a redneck ram, which is a hydraulic assist directly to the drag link. With that, all I had to do was drill and tap to the correct ports in the original steering box, where the original valving then changed the direction of the high pressure oil and gave me the extra assist that I need. In the rear, I have a standard petrol tank, and inside that standard petrol tank I've used a Falcon turbocharged fuel pump, which bolted straight in place, made itself very handy. And to protect the tank itself, I'm running the 3mm bash plate, which came off Monster. Now Munster was a long wheelbase, it had a 92 litre fuel tank, and this one's only 75. It has the same profile, but shorter. So I just rebent it and remounted it.